Alright, so let's talk a little bit about difficulties. I'm just gonna have one of my failed runs in the background here. We are playing Heresy with double Ogren and double bots. And the ending is hilarious, and you'll see soon I make a huge mistake right here, where I thought it was only one guy over there, and it's actually two. So I was gonna take a lot of damage anyway, but I thought I was I thought I was gonna be well above half health at least after that. But as you can see, even even experienced players make judgment calls that are, well, to be fair, fucking stupid. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about the difficulties. I've been reading a lot in the Steam forums, and I don't know. I feel that half of the posts in there about everything being difficult is either trolling or it's either people wanting to lower the difficulties, like actually make Heresy and Damnation easier instead of just playing lower difficulty themselves. Because I know that I and some of my friends are quite in agreement about Damnation being too easy for the longevity of the game. And I think that one of the reasons why people are saying that there's so many bad players in Heresy and Damnation. So I want to address that a little bit. But first, let's go over a little bit about the difficulties, because that's gonna tie into what I'm thinking is happening here. So sedition and what's the other one? The first two difficulties. They are more or less there to learn the ropes of the game. And if you are new to the Tide series, you should definitely give them a try to get the handle of your character. You know, to learn the dodging, the pacing, trying to create space for yourself so that you can snipe enemies or specials way off. It was a big thing back in Vermintide, and it's a big thing here too. Because you don't, on the higher difficulties, you don't have time to do those kinds of things. Anyway, so learning what the specials do, learning how to control your character, that's what the first two difficulties are for. So the third difficulty, Malice, that's the first actual taste you get of what the game has to offer. The amount of elites and how hard they hit and what they do start to actually add up in there. It really isn't a big deal in the first two. I've been playing Malice for all my characters. For I think it unlocks at 2 or maybe level 3. So I've only been playing the first 2 until that, and I've been consistently having over 90% success rate even at the sub 10 levels. But to be fair, I have over 1500 hours in Vermintide 2, and a lot of the skills you get from there that you need to push the difficulties carries over. So anyway, so the chip damage from hordes start to get worse, and the elites actually start to do something. And if you make mistakes, your toughness is more often good enough to let you do mistakes and get on with the game. The ranged enemies are still on Malice not that difficult. They start to actually do damage, but it's not instantly taking your toughness away, as it is on basically Heresy and Damnation. But you also get the high pressure moments that are starting to get high pressure. So if you've only played 1 and 2, you should expect a big difficulty spike. Because between 1 and 2, it's basically the same, but everybody has a little bit more health. That's basically it. And Heresy is where things start to hurt. Like here. If you've been watching, you can see that I'm getting shot just a little, and my toughness is very, very much gone. The ranged are very unforgiving. The specials start to be unforgiving. And the ship damage from hordes very much hurt. Or at least it starts to hurt. And when you get into those high pressure situations, they're getting more and more chaotic, and instead of having everything basically spawn and then you have to deal with it, it keeps spawning stuff in. It feels like a different way. There's more stuff coming up on you, even though you still had everything from the high pressure already in front of you. So Heresy is very much harder than Malice, and Malice is very much harder than the first 2 difficulties. Damnation, even more so. Just gonna see here. I think this is the... Yeah, this is the end. This is hilarious. He tried, but he stepped in the fire. Anyway, just gonna cue the next thing. Another failed thing where I tried to I'll teach Neonic some stuff. But anyway, so damnation. The ranged enemies start to get really, really dangerous. One gunner and you're out of toughness. The hordes, they will also eat away your toughness because they are dense, and the elites also start to spawn in bigger numbers, and they're harder to stagger, or hard to kill at least. And every time you do a mistake, it costs you health. In Malice, your toughness will save you from mistakes. In Damnation, your health will. If you do a mistake, you will either die or you will lose health. And everybody makes mistakes. And everybody will continue to make mistakes. Nobody plays perfect. Some people play better than others, of course. But nobody's perfect. But it really, really hurts when you do anything that's suboptimal. And I think one of the biggest reasons, I think this is a Malice game, you can see that I'm basically just trying to get a feel for the last gun here. Just kind of doing a tryout video. But you see, I can get away with a lot. Standing around, shooting, taking stray shots, it's not a big deal. And it's fine. On Heresy, the clip you saw earlier, it was not fine. Not even the slightest. I did one mistake. I underestimated the strength of the force in front of me, and I got shot to pieces. And here is Malice, where I'm basically just allowing myself to get shot. Toughness is fine. I have increased toughness here, of course, and I'm playing the veteran, so but you get the point. So one of the big issues I think that many players or many people on the forum are complaining about the toughness or the difficulty spike is that they don't expect the range to stack up so significantly, the range damage from the enemy. And as it at the same time gets way harder to kill stuff, it really, well, one thing multiplies the other. And you need to be able to create space in the higher difficulties. Like when there's a special that spawns, you see, I'm not really caring about it right now because we're kind of safe. The horde is gone and everybody's up at full health and full toughness, so I don't have to worry. But at the same time, I don't want the the bomber to split us up. That's why I focus on him. But I don't really care about the hounds. And that's fine for Malice. In Heresy, and especially in Damnation, you need to push things, push the horde in front of you, create some space for yourself so that you can snipe the harder ones. And that's, if you don't know how to do that, you're not really, you're not gonna succeed. Here you see I'm ignoring the hound again, because there's not that much pressure. Even though it looks like much on the screen, if the hound comes, since I have the power sword, I can basically just cleave through and get the hound off, since it's only Malice. And sometimes the game throws you these kinds of situations, and then you're fucked anyway. But to be fair, if I hadn't dropped down there when I did, I actually did drop down by the... Let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, right here. See, I'm trying to back off to get the... Don't know if you saw it there. But right here, I'm trying to back off so I can launch my grenade. And then I thought there was a little bit more of a floor here. But since Neonic jumped down over there, and now I'm also down, then now I need to start doing things. And now the rest of the team, as you see, they correctly jump down. Well, maybe not correctly, but they jump down because now they're gonna be isolated up there otherwise. And the team is strongest together, but since we got into this situation, we couldn't really do anything about it. You see there? There's also one thing. We have a mauler, and then nothing around, and then a crusher. And a dog gets him. I see it, and I'm trying to stagger the... Let's see if I can... I'm trying to stagger the crusher one last time since I've charged the thing up before I go and rescue him. And then we got a bomber and a trapper. The only thing I saw was him getting down by a dog. And there's already one more elite and two more specials that just crept up on us. And when these kinds of situations happen in Damnation, you're very royally screwed. Unless you have some serious team coordination. If you're playing pugs, might not have that, or you find people that are good that can help you. So anyway, I think most people go into these kinds of games, the 4s and 5s, and try to treat it as Malice. And this game here is Malice. And it still screws you over. And it basically screwed us over because two people made one mistake. Right there. Back at here. Let's see if we can, yeah. Basically, right here, there was one error of judgment and one error of Sionic. He jumps in, he thinks he's gonna die because he thought they were following him, so he jumped down to get away from everything. They followed him down, and then I took a misstep. I would probably have done the same jump anyway very soon after, but if I would have waited a little bit, then maybe the rest of the team wouldn't have jumped down with us. Maybe we could have jumped down on the outside, getting our situation better. But we paid for it. And that's basically 2 mistakes, and then 2 people who tries to fix it, and that's on Malice. If we go back to the other one, let's see again. My biggest mistake on Heresy as of now, right here. See here, I'm seeing a gunner and a gunner, and I'm seeing 1 Reaper. And I'm seeing small guys who are kind of stacked perfectly for my bull rush. That's what I'm planning. But my team is right behind me, and there's a gunner right here. So my focus here is to stagger him, because I know they are a few steps behind me. He might get a shot on them before they arrive in time to stagger them themselves. But to be fair, it's only one. It's only one player and 2 bots, but regardless. So I try to get him, and then I realize he doesn't die, and then I realize I'm out of toughness. Then I charge. But from the time right here, these guys have spread out, so I'm not hitting everyone, and those guys have separated, so I'm not hitting all of them either. And now I'm down to my last sliver of health. If this was a damnation run, I would have died. And probably way before I could actually taken down the enemies, which would have put the rest of my team, which is still just 1 guy and 2 bots, at a severe disadvantage. And I'm doing one of those, trying out the knife things. So that's why I'm not using the stubber 2, because, well, you see my videos and my scatterbrained way of doing things. You know that I like to switch up 2 things so I can actually do 2 things, because if I do 1 thing and then I use the other, which I'm better with, and then, yeah, it ends up being nothing. It ends up being the same content. But you see here that we're already at below 1/3 of our health, and we've barely we barely started the map. To be fair, let's see when we actually get, yeah, this is where I lose the majority of my health. And Woofle here, he's basically trying to gun everything down just to save me. So I lost this amount of health, but half his health, almost half his health, is also my fault. And that's just because I was a little bit late with realizing there was two of them and that I actually needed to use the charge, not stay and try to get the gunner. So that's also one thing that I think people who are crying out over bad teammates all the time, they don't realize what you yourself as a player actually does. I mean, the bots are fuck all, but I chipped 400 health off my own health bar and almost half of my teammate's health bar just so he could save me. And that's not because he's a bad player. That's because I made something very bad. I mean, he made a mistake there, standing and firing at the sniper. But on the other hand, who else could have gotten it? We still only have bots. So the only one he could count on to get it would be me. And I just showed him that I'm a real bad fucking douche that charges in and almost ended the run. So he shouldn't be trusting me there. I wouldn't. But I've played a fair few damnation matches, both as the Ogrin and as the zealot. I am either probably gonna upload 2 of those before this one gets up, and I've already uploaded 1, I think, of the Ogrin. I had, I think, two of the 2 replays for the zealot that I had to delete because my cat disabled my microphone. So everything I was talking about got deleted, so there's no point. Anyway, I paused this just because here's another example of a bad judgment call. Just to show you what I mean. See, I stopped there because I was taking a sip of my drink. I could actually check that again. So right now, I'm basically moving forward and only with my mouse. Not moving my mouse, you saw that, and then I stopped. That's because I was having a mug in the other hand, taking a sip of a drink, so I'm only moving the WASD keys. And then I saw something, so I stopped instead of moving forward. But I don't know, since I'm obviously busy with my drink here, which I shouldn't be. But I did not spot all of these guys. I did spot the Grenadier, but it's basically around now that I realized there are shotgunners or whatever there. The small range one doesn't really concern me because I would have just reloaded and shot a grenade over there or charged. But now the shotgunners over here, they complicate things because I need to get them before I get these guys. And on Malice, I could have, you see, I start to aim over there to shoot them. My teammate tries to shoot them with the stubber, which throws off my aim, so I don't get the shot off in time, and then I'm kind of stuck in the corner because I didn't kill the bomber, or there was another bomber, I don't know. So admitting your own mistakes and realizing them and learning from them is one of the big things I think that some people in this community have. Which is, it's a little bit sad. Because the only way to make improvements, the only way to get better. And there's also one thing. Before I continue that, let's get my scatterbrain up here. So there's raiders coming for me here. I immediately turn to face them because they will also do a ton of damage. I know that the other guy probably he's shown that he's a decent player. He's not bad, he's not the best in the world, but he's decent enough for Heresy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trusting that he's got that. And then the bot goes down, and I back down, and I see that there's a gunner over here. And then I see him get eaten. So I rush over, I try to stagger the gunner basically with my bull rush, and then I try to press him through the ground, which I can't. But I staggered the gunner so that the, well, is it a zealot or is it a sharpshooter? I think it's a zealot. Anyway, I stagger so that he can deal with the remaining 2 threats. And then I try to res him, but I get the boss on me. So instead of keep trying, I see that he's free. So I let him do the resing while I try to just keep it. And I got stuck in a barrel too. But these are my mistakes. There are certainly more mistakes that you can make. And there's certainly a bunch of mistakes that my teammates are making. But to be honest, I can't improve my teammates. They have to do it themselves. And one of the mistakes I can actually point out is this right here. They start to engage the boss. While the boss has been for the past while, I'm trying to get it over here so that we can engage it with having a little bit of cover by the statue. If there were people spawning over here, which there obviously are. So the right play to do here is he should turn around, engage those, make sure the area is safe. Because right now I still have half health. And I've been kiting him for a while, so I can take a few punches. But you see there, I get shot, and he's trying to help me instead of killing the others, and he ends up getting aggroed. And I don't realize that they're still alive until right about there. And then I switch and try to take them out with a very bad grenade. And then another very bad grenade. And now the boss is kind of in the perfect position for me to try to take aggro and pull it back. Which we didn't need to because we killed it, but... So, everybody makes mistakes all the time. People need to realize their own mistakes and learn from them. I certainly do. Or at least I try to do. And I'm only gonna get better because that's my way of doing things. And if you guys also wanna be better, and that's a perfect grenade. I just need to see that again. If you guys also want to get better at this game, don't look at what other people makes, what kind of mistakes other people do. Look at yourself first and foremost, because you can't improve your teammates' skills, but you can improve your own. And if you need to leave your teammates in the dust to carry a solo damnation run, you're not gonna do it if you're complaining about others. You're only gonna do it if you seek to improve yourself at all times. Now let's see this perfect grenade. And I even stopped to look at it. One more thing. You can see the decision making here. After that, I look at it and I'm basically thinking, wow, what a dumbass that must have been who shot that into the railing there. And then I realized that it's only one gunner up there, and it's only a small gunner. And I see there's a lot coming here. So for the safety of the team, I try to lock them up in melee. And then I realized there's raiders and everything, so I kind of need to back down. But I've stopped them from firing, which means that the other guy can get up there and rescue him. That wouldn't have been possible if I would just have been thinking about myself. I put myself in harm's way for the team, and that paid off. And regardless of what I'm thinking about my team, it will pay off. So, help your team, even if they are playing badly, they might have a bad day, and they might just be learning too. But help your team, then you will succeed. And don't get stuck out here. That's also a good tip. Anyway, so the difficulties. If you're a new player, 1 and 2, good for learning to control your character, knowing what the specials are doing, so on and so forth. If you're a veteran, jump straight to Malice. If you're a veteran of the Tide games, there's no point. And if you feel like you want to actually progress Malice is basically the easiest difficulty that's difficult enough to understand what to expect at the higher difficulties. So, well, if you are somewhere in between, or if you're a veteran, I think that as soon as you can, what is it, 3? Then you should start playing Malice. If you can have 70% win rate on Malice, you should play Malice. Until basically 15-ish. 20 if you're the Ogren and having trouble staying alive. Because you get the talent for the damage reduction at 20, which is very helpful. Other than that, between 15 and 20, you should start to dip your toes in Heresy. If you can manage it, stay there. If you can't manage it, well, go back to Malice. And Damnation? 20 or 25 is probably the least you should be before you try Damnation. With that said, you can of course deviate from these and have a good run anyway if you're either skilled or if your team is skilled. So, anyway, if you base your expectations on the first 2 difficulties, you're not gonna like what the game has for you. If you base it on Malice and think it's only gonna get way harder and way more elites, and your toughness is not worth basically anything on Heresy and Damnation. Toughness is only there to let you get from one cover to another, or to get that charge in to lock them in melee. You're not gonna stay alive on your toughness. Toughness is not a health bar. Toughness is not a shield. Toughness is just that little window that you get to that you have to actually get a little bit closer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me rambling on about the difficulties and the forums, both the trolls and the other people. And hopefully you liked my analysis of my own faults. I did a bunch of more errors in this, but the major ones I think I covered. If you spot something else, throw it in. Why not? I always want to improve, so if you want to analyze all of my games, go ahead. I want to become better, so I want the criticism. And if you don't agree with me, well, tell me. If I'm being too harsh, tell me. If I'm being being not enough harsh, tell me. I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, I guess my ramblings are finished. So I'll see you guys in the next one.